I'm really excited to share with you some really interesting action research that I've been doing with my course that I've been teaching dealing with professional communication. So what I've done is I've used an AI, ChatGPT, the free version, and I created a simulation. The idea here is that I'm teaching my students about networking. So they're going to have to go out and interview someone that they don't know that's in the field that they want to go into. So I wanted to help prepare them for that. So what I decided to do is create a simulation that would first give them some experience in answering questions, right? So I created this simulation where the AI assumed the role of a high school student that was asking my students questions dealing with how to succeed at the university. In this way, the students would then get some familiarity, some experience in answering questions. Now, of course, they still also need to get experience in asking questions, but we've done a lot of that in class as well. And then there's also a follow-on to this. But first, I would like to share with you some of the results that I got from this sort of experiment, right? In that I had the students go through this, and I want to share with you some of the things that they expressed. What's really powerful is that all of them expressed that it did work. There were a couple that said that they had a couple of issues, but a majority of them said that it worked perfectly. The issues noted were simple things that got clarified pretty easily. When answering the question as to what, if any, were some positive aspects of going through this AI simulation, some interesting results were that they felt that it was very realistic. One person noted that the AI is definitely more than a simple mechanism. It has a broader capacity of reasoning, reflecting, reacting, and analyzing, which makes the process scarily realistic. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Another person noted that it was so real that I really started to feel nervous trying to get the right answer to these poor high school teens. Another person said that before this, I had many interviews and wanted someone to give me some unexpected and interesting questions so I could answer them and become more confident in actual interviews. I used Google and got some questions, but finding, reading, and then answering questions was not the same experience as I had with this AI simulation. Another person expressed that questions that the AI were asking were pretty interesting and gave me some room to think. Also, it was a very smooth process and was fun to do. Notice it was fun to do. Someone else said that this was an exciting experience. Unpredictable questions. And a very interesting comment was that I got a lot of praise from ChatGPT, and that felt nice in a very weird way. I've never received an AI simulated compliment before. Other comments were things such as, this was insightful, this was like a real interview, it was good practice, I'm going to use them again, similar to an actual interview. I love the way that I got feedback at the end of the interview. I found the responses of the students really interesting and really beneficial, as well as positive, because many of their experiences and their comments dealt with emotion, that the simulation evoked an emotion, right? That it felt realistic, that it was something interesting and fun. Again, these are powerful educational aspects to consider, because now we're using the AI as a tool to evoke an emotional response in their learning. And man, if we can do that, the more that we can do that, we're helping the students make an emotional connection to the actual learning content. So that will assist them in being able to remember what they went through, to remember this experience of going through this simulation. So that was really powerful as well. I also asked students what, if any, were some negative aspects of going through the AI simulation. Some things noted was a worry of trusting AI too much, not going deeper into the feedback, wanting more feedback, concerns about AI replacing humans, as well as aspects of it being only textually based. So it wasn't a replication of a real life interview process because it was purely textual. Overall, the students rated it as a 95% as far as it being a good use of their time and it being a beneficial experience. So that's a pretty high percentage. So I'm really proud of that. The other thing was that although this was part of an assignment that they had to go through, right, to go through the simulation to gain some experience that way, I also created an additional simulation, one that allows them to practice asking questions. So I used some of the results from this one to try and enhance the prompt, to enhance the simulation, to make it that much better. I've given it over to them, but not as an assignment, just as an additional asset for them to go through if they want to. We're still early on because their assignment isn't actually due until next week as far as actually interviewing someone, but students are starting to use this additional simulation for them to practice on their own more and more. So I can already see that multiple of them have already done it. So I'll report back, but it's really interesting to see how the students are gravitating to this, that they like it and they can start to see a benefit to it. So it's important for us to think about how we can use AI in different ways, and using it as a simulation is a very powerful way that, as this result shows, can definitely be beneficial and will help them in understanding the topic being learned. So this simulation, I'll definitely put within the comments section so that you can just copy and paste and then modify it as you need to for your own specific topic, for your own specific field. Think about different ways that students could practice going through an aspect of what you're teaching them so that they can gain skills mastery by going over it again and again. And one of the things that some of the students have expressed is that they like the simulation and using the AI because they're not being judged, right? It's one thing to do it in class and then get feedback, which is great, but it's also great to do it on your own so you can do it many, many times, get feedback from the AI. It's non-human, it's non-judgmental, so it kind of feels a little bit different. Now, they need to get experience in both, that's for sure, but it's a nice additional tool that can really give agency and empowerment to the student to be able to learn on their own as well, to enhance their overall learning within the class. So I would definitely recommend using this. The results that I've got, use simulations, use AI simulations. They're very easy. It's a bit difficult to put it all together at the beginning, but I've done the hard work for you. So definitely use my prompt. There's other free simulations out there that just use a simple ChatGPT prompt and turns it into a simulation for your students to go through. So definitely use it and get the most out of it to make the best educational experience possible for everyone involved. And remember, learning is for life.